Dirtle Magic. Thank you for tuning in to Dirtle Magic. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you like the content you see here today, and leave a like and share the video with someone you might think is interested. Leaving those likes really helps us out, but another way to help us out is by using our TCG Player affiliate link below. If you're looking for singles, sealed product, or gaming accessories, please consider using our link to support the channel. We also have some playmats at inkgaming.com. Go ahead and hit the link in the description to check those out. Alright, let's grab some spells and dirtle with some magic. Hello and welcome back to Dirtle Magic. Today we're playing some Shadrix Silverquill. Looking at our opening hand, we do have a Signet and a land, but a land is just not going to cut, so we will take that free mulligan. New hand, a land, 2 mana rocks. We could risk it, but I don't think there's enough lands in the deck to risk it, so we will take one more mulligan. New hand, 2 lands, unfortunately one's Temple of the False God, but we do have a Soul Ring. Deck's not liking us today. I guess we'll just keep this one and get rid of the Austere command for now. Our first punt, Nissa Vastward Seer, also Nissa Sage Amist. Front side 2 green 2/2, legendary creature Elf Scout. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for basic forest card, reveal it, and put it to your hand, then shuffle your library. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands, exile her, and then return her to the battlefield transformed under her owner's control. Forest and Elvish Mystic coming down for them. Backside, Nissa Sage Amist. Comes into play with 3 loyalty, +1, reveal its top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield, otherwise put it to your hand. -2, create Ashea the Awoken World, a legendary 4/4 elemental green creature token. -7, untap up to 6 lands, they become 6/6 elementals, they're still lands. That does last indefinitely. Our second opponent is Braids, Conjurer Adept. 2 blue for a legendary 2/2 human wizard. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may put an artifact, creature, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield for free. Our commander, Shadrix Silverquill, is 3 white/black for a legendary 2/5 Elder Dragon. Following double strike, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may choose 2. Each mode must target a different player. Target player gets a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. Target player draws a card and loses 1 life. Or target player puts a 1/1 counter on each creature they control. We have a Soul Ring coming down for the Braids player after an island. Our last opponent is Wort the Raid Mother. 2 Gruul for a legendary 3/3 Goblin Shaman. Ooh, Lightning Greaves also for the Braids player. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 red and green Goblin Warrior creature tokens. Each red and green instant or sorcery you cast has Conspire, which means, as you cast the spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures that you control that share a color with it. If you do, copy it, and you may choose new targets. Comes our turn, we get Return to Dust, unfortunately not a land. Let's go Swamp and Soul Ring. And we'll pass it off there. Braids could be coming down next turn. Over to Wort, we have a Mountain into play. Oh, that's it for Wort, over to Nissa. Nissa has a Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. That's going to get out of hand pretty quick. At least it's not a Cradle, I suppose. Could also be Elf Tribal with Land Tribal. Seems to be a thing. Growing Rites of Itlamok. Well, there's Cradle Light. When there's the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards. They may reveal a creature card from among them. Well, let's see if they do so. They reveal nothing. Over to Braids. Oh, we have a Pillowfort land. Labyrinth of Skulfos. Vidalcan Orderly. Okay. So, instant speed for them. Interesting. No Braids coming down though, no second blue source. Comes our turn, we get a Swamp. Okay, we could get down Rankle, that could be interesting. Let's go ahead and do that. Time to get ranked. And let's go ahead and hit Nissa, I suppose. No real reason. Everybody gets to draw a card. We get a Swamp. And we'll pass it off. Over to Wort's turn. One of the more interesting red-green commanders, although usually the builds are pretty similar. Ooh, nothing out of Wort besides land this turn. Nissa's turn, we have a Forest into play. They could summon their commander now, go get another land. It's Farhaven Elf. Okay, so it's an elf, it gets a land. That's pretty close. That's it for Nissa, over to Braids. Island into play for Braids, and on the bright side, we go right after Braids. So if they summon her, we can drop something immediately, Keeper of the Accord, and start getting some lands going. Perfect, since we don't seem to be getting white mana. Ooh, they don't drop Braids. Okay, so a little bit stuck still. That's unfortunate. Going to roll over to us. So let's see if we get a white source. We get Terramorphic Expanse. Yep, that's fine with me. Let's go ahead, play it, and crack it. Planes into play. Let's go to attacks and attack Braids. We have a trigger. Let's go ahead and let everybody draw a card one more time. We get Ophiliomancer, could be good later. Bit of an expensive card. What's surprised they didn't reprint that and or Machiko Kunda in the white-black precon. Was a little bit disappointed in that. Over to Wort. Let's see what they'll do with the turn. I'm hoping they ramp a little bit. All the other decks are ramping, although Nissa, I guess that goes without saying, the commander itself ramps. Seize the spoils on Wort's turn. As additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards, and create some treasure. Alright, so they get some mana out of it. That's not too bad. This is one of my more favorite treasure tokens as well. Looks like treasure. Discard a forest, okay. They will have to discard a card at the end of their turn. Let's go ahead and see what it is. They discard Fall of the Titans, okay. Not so good against the elves. Could be better against Braids, though. Braids will likely come down at the end step for the Nissa player. And then we get to go after them. But who knows what they're going to summon otherwise. Nissa Vastward Seer coming down for that player. There's a forest. Alright, it doesn't look like anything else out of the Nissa player. Maybe they'll attack somewhere with the Farhaven, but I doubt it. And they do not. Over to Braids. Well, let's see if they do Braids at the end step anyway. It looks like they are. Here she comes. Braids. Conjure Adept coming down for that player. She triggers for the first time this game. Oh, please don't be an Eldrazi. It's a Consecrated Sphinx. You know, I still feel like that's better than an Eldrazi. We do have Despark in hand though, so I'm not terribly worried about it. Lightning Greaves onto the Sphinx. Well, now I'm worried about it. That's it for Braids. Going to roll over to us. I think I have a plan. Alright, we gotta put something into play as well. Let's do Keeper of the Accord, see if we can't get some tokens and stuff going. We get Orzhov Advocist. Love-hate relationship with the card. Unfortunately, it often looks like it backfires. Consecrated Sphinx will trigger for the first time this game. Braids will get to draw 2 cards. Well, let's go ahead and play Swamp. No need for the Temple of the False God just yet. And we summon our commander, Shadrix Silverquill. Let's go to attacks. First we have a trigger. Let's give ourselves a token, and target player gets 1/1 counters because it'd be glorious, right? We'll get a token, and Wort can have all the 1/1 counters. Let's swing into Wort. Just go around the table. We have a trigger. Damage is good. Let's do each player sacrifices a creature. I don't know that I want to do either of the other ones right now. We'll sacrifice the Inkling. Farhaven Elf gets the sack. And Braids gets the sack. Likely just back to the command zone so they can recast it at the end of the turn on Nissa's turn anyway. And we'll pass it off. Over to Wort's turn, the Sphinx does its thing. We will just yield to the trigger. Oh, we have a B-Act. That kinda sucks. Oh well, no ramp for us. Commander back to the command zone. Yeah, Keeper of the Accord can do some work. I haven't had it last too terribly long in almost any game I've played it. Could just be coincidence. Nostalgic Dreams. X equals 2. As an additional cost to cast a spell, discard X cards, return up to X cards from Mangara to your hand. Let's see, we have Seize the Spoils, and I believe that was Blasphemous Act. It was. And they discard Battle Hymn and a Forest. So we'll have to remember that B-Act for later. Over to Nissa's turn. Let's see what they do with their turn. Currently 6 cards in hand after the draw. We are at 5. Wort is at 5. Braids is at 9. And they can still recast their commander at instant speed. They do have enough mana to do so. Hedron Archive coming down after a land card. Temple of the False God over there. It's not the best land ever, but I think people are a little bit too down on it. It does tap to add 2 after all. Nissa coming back down. They'll get another land. There's Braids at end of turn. Braids will trigger again during Braids' turn. Let's see what they put into play. It is Perilous Vault. Oh, jeez. Okay. Land into play, followed by a Sky Diamond. Lightning Greaves being equipped to Braids. That's it for Braids. Going to roll over to us. Don't know what we're going to do about stuff. Braids still has 7 cards in hand. We can put something out for free. Don't know that I necessarily want to. I guess we'll do a Philiomancer. Just get some extra defenders down and sit here. We get Silverquill Campus. At least it's a white source. Let's go ahead and get it down. At least we can scry with it, if nothing else. We cannot resummon our commander just yet. We are out of Return to Dust. Only 1 white source. Could play the Advocate, but we're not in a position where that's going to be terribly useful. Despark, we're going to hold up, and we'll pass it off. Unfortunately, we're seeing between a Blasphemous Act on Wort's side and a Perilous Vault on Braid's side. So I'm hoping the Nissa player has some way to deal with one or the other. Preferably, they have a way to deal with the artifact because they are playing mono green, but we'll have to see how things go. We have a couple of triggers. Ophiomancer will trigger for the first time. We will yield. Okay, there is a new token art for it. That looks pretty creepy, but interesting. Also, not only does this card need a reprint pretty desperately, it's what, over $20 and they have yet to reprint it? They also need to print the token for it this time. Nice that it has the art though. Over to Wort's turn, we have Seize the Spoils. They're going to discard another card to draw 2, and they get a treasure token again. They discard Early Harvest, okay. So now they have 4 mana remaining. Don't know if they'll do anything with it. They still have the B-Act though. They would need one more creature on the battlefield to summon it if they really want to do it at this point. Doesn't seem like a good play to me. Deconstruct. Destroy target artifact, add green, green, green. Nice. So Braids could activate the artifact here. Let's see if they're going to. Oh, it's a straight up swan song. Promo art too. I guess we will answer the call and despark the Perilous Vault as well. Force them to use it. Alright, not enough mana now, off by 1. There goes the Perilous Vault into exile. Yay, no recursion. Swan Song will trigger though. Wort will get a defender with a 2/2 bird. I like how the bird token is now just the raven instead of the swan. So, weird. So maybe, you know, Raven Song will be a thing at some point. They'll probably just be screaming murder though because memes. Over to Nissa's turn. For their Braids trigger, they had Rampaging Ballast come into play. Yeah, that's pretty good. Although I expect a Blasphemous Act coming out of the Wort player this next turn they have coming around. Not too worried about it. I think we'll just kind of sit in reserve, not cast our commander, and see if we can get that Blasphemous Act to come out. We have a landfall trigger. We also have some mana tapping. And Nissa flips over. Too bad. Beast token to play. We have an activation. They reveal the top card. If it's a land card, onto the battlefield. Otherwise to their hand. It is Fierce Empath. So a tutor. That's not the best. They also might put Wort off using the Blasphemous Act for a turn or two, which actually might work out better for us. I mean, the game's kind of slow as far as damage goes, although a lot of us have. Okay. Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre. That's not the best. And we just used Despark too. There's always an Eldrazi somewhere, unfortunately. It comes into play though. They will get rid of the Lightning Greaves on Braids. Into play at the end step is the Kami of the Crescent Moon. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. We could certainly use it, although I do have a bunch of card drawn here. I just haven't seen it yet. Although our commander and Wrinkle were going to do it for us, but they got blown up. Oh, followed by a Howling Mine as well. Yeah, things are going to get out of hand. Over to Braids' actual turn. They'll put something from their hand into play, maybe, and then draw 3 cards. We have a Helm of the Host. Oh dear. 2 new triggers to the game, Kami of the Crescent Moon and Howling Mine. We will yield to both of those. That's it for Braids. Going to roll over to us. Let's see, Annihilator 4, bunch of extra card draw, Wort sitting on a Blasphemous Act. This is not a good place to be. Yeah, I guess we'll do the Advocist. We are going to draw like 4 cards this turn, or 3 cards rather. Let's see what we get. First is a Felwar Stone. We have a Restoration Angel, that could be good later. And a Windborn Muse. So I was going to use Return to Dust on the Growing Rites and the Aurelie, but some of those can be super dangerous, especially if they drop something like an Eldrazi and equip it. So unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to do that now. Let's go ahead and get down the Felwar Stone. And then I suppose we'll get down Return to Dust and do it anyway. Unfortunately, I think getting on Seaboard Misa just died to a B-Act. Restoration Angel won't really help us now. We don't have an ETB. So let's get rid of those 2 targets. Get rid of the Rites and the Aurelie. If I ever pronounce that correctly, anyway. We have a response, probably some counter magic. Oh, nope. It's Palinchron. That's unfortunate. They untap 7 lands. Let's see if they have counter magic this time. They still have a chance to respond. And what would that t-shirt say that I saw? Untapped lands are why I have trust issues. This is totally true. Phyrexian Metamorph also coming down. Is it going to be Palinchron? It comes into play as a copy of Palinchron. There you go. More untapping lands. Okay, let's see if they have counter magic this time. Oh, it's a Cycrypt. That sucks. Can we do anything about that? We do not even have white, so Restoration Angel wouldn't work for us. Ulamog's going to come back into play and destroy something. Although, I believe at this point Braids is a target, so let's just let it go through. Okay, we are still targeting their artifact. Let's see if they have Force Spike, maybe? Nope, finally goes down after all that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and replay our Mana Rocks, because why not? They won't be hurt by Blasphemous Act, and we'll pass it off after that. Let's see, would they have enough mana for Blasphemous Act? 6, deduction of 4, yeah. Let's go ahead and pass it. I was thinking of playing maybe one creature just so I could cast Blasphemous Act, but we'll see how things go. Over to Wort's turn. Hopefully they cast that B-Act. Change... Oh, they put Lethal Form Engine into play. Copy stuff. I still need to pick one of those up for myself. Okay, Braids is currently down to 2 cards in hand. We do each draw 2 extra cards a turn, but this would be the time to strike with that B-Act, because the only thing they would have would be a Force Spike, perhaps. Yeah, there's that B-Act. Nice. B-Act resolves. Everything's down. Braids back to the command zone. Over to Nissa's turn. We know they have Ulamog in hand, which is very unfortunate. So far, they only have 8 mana on the battlefield, so they would need to get a little bit more. They can't just put it into play with Braids, thankfully. Hopefully, we will draw some removal to get rid of that thing. Nissa, Vastward Seer coming back down. It was bounced back to the hand with Psych Rift. They'll go get another land. Land into play. Nissa, Vastward Seer will transform. Nissa, the Sage Amist, is in play. Let's see what they're going to activate on her. Is the top, +1. They reveal in play Gear Reach Sanitarium. Gauntlet of Power. Oof. I do own one of those myself. I just don't use it. Never know when you might need the power, but I imagine they're picking green. Wort's going to love it. It is in fact green. Alright, so Wort gets double green. Hedron Archive coming back down for the Nissa player. That means probably Ulamog next turn. Hopefully not blowing up our lands. Braids still seems like they could be a target, but everything really has shifted over to Nissa being a target at this point. Nissa player will have to discard a card. Let's go see what it is. I bet it's a forest. It is a forest. Over to Braids' turn. We have Windfall. Alright, that could work out. We each get to draw 7? Yeah, that works for me. Ulamog gets gotten rid of, more or less. It does shuffle everything back into the deck, though. Let's see. We get Ascent of the Worthy, Siphon Mine, Winds of Abandon, Swamp, Mindstone, Phyrexian Arena, and Dawn Charm. Okay. Yeah, I can live with that. Oh, we have Meteor Golem. I do love that card. I think a 3/3 for 7 that destroys something is a decent amount of mana. Let's see where it goes. It is destroying the Planeswalker. That's fine. It is their commander, and they do have double green. That's not really going to hurt him too much. Surprised they didn't hit the Gauntlet. That's it for Braids. Let's roll it on over to us. I'm thinking land, Mindstone, Siphon Mine to see what we get after that, and possibly our commander. Ooh, Bloodgift Demon. Nice. Usually this is not the best thing ever. Oh, actually let's play the plane since we got that. Usually Bloodgift Demon is not the best thing ever, but it does let target opponent draw a card, and since this is a political deck-ish, yeah, it works out. Tap down some mana. Play the Siphon Mine. Let's see, we get Puppeteer Click, Scheming Symmetry, and Arcane Signet. Ooh, okay, what can we get with the Puppeteer Click? I think there's a Palinchron with my name on it. First, let's go ahead and get down the Arcane Signet. And then we'll do the Puppeteer Click. And Palinchron, if you please. We have a trigger. Let's untap up to 7 lands. And then we'll cast our commander. Go to combat. We'll choose Token, give ourselves one, and we'll put 1/1 counters on all of the creatures over there on Nissa's side. And we'll go ahead and attack into the Braids player with their own creature. Seems good. Damage is good, they do not block. Down to 31. And we'll pass it off there. Palinchron will be exiled. Over to Wort's turn. 8 cards in hand after the draw, thanks to the Howling Mine. So we haven't seen Wort yet. They do have enough mana to cast Wort, drop a land, possibly play something, but there's really still nothing to do. Being a 6-drop really balances out her effect. You can get a lot out of Wort if she sticks on the battlefield. Heartbeat of Spring. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land produced. Oh, double mana. Oh, I hate you so much. Lethal Form Engine, they'll make another copy of that as a permanent. So we each get to tap for 3 mana a land. Nifty. Well, that solves Wort costing 6 as a problem. So the Nissa player can now tap their forest for 4 mana apiece. So yeah, Nissa's coming out ahead. Wort, however, with giant X spells could burn everything to the ground, so that's unfortunate. Wort, the Raid Mother, coming down for that player. That's it for Wort. I think that's enough. Unfortunately, we are the furthest opponent from Wort, so we are not going to benefit from those enchantments before our opponents. This could get bad really quick. On the bright side, we do have Winds of Abandon. So whatever they cast, as long as they're creatures, we could exile them, but then ramp everyone. The trade-off really isn't that good here. It would really have to depend on what they play. I mean, Eldrazi always kind of get my ire up, but it'd have to be a lot of things to offset everything. And there'd have to be no more windfalls, which is also problematic. Vorniclex, Voice of Hunger. Oh, it's all the bad things today. Also, they now tap for 5 mana on their force? Oh my god. Primal Clux. God, I haven't seen that in forever. Alright, its powers and toughness are equal to the number of green mana symbols on permanents you control. It has Chroma. That's back from like Shadowmoor and Eventide. There were a few cards like that. I wouldn't mind seeing that mechanic again. I think it was an okay mechanic. Apparently it wasn't very popular. Neither were the whole sets, but I enjoyed it. Hedron Archive getting cracked to draw 2 cards. So also, the Primal Clux is currently a 9/9. Now over a land state tapped if we tap any amount of mana from them. Luckily they each produce 3, so I guess it kind of evens it out. Next turn what I want to do is Ascent of the Worthy, and also do that to the Puppeteer click because it can come right back. So if anyone does attack us or something, it doesn't say specifically combat damage, and Wort likes to deal damage to everything. Other than that, if Wort targets us with something, we have Dawn Charm to counter it. So I think we're good against Wort. I don't know what we're going to do against Vorniclex, but that might be a Winds of Abandon. On the bright side, I suppose, we do have Mana Rocks. Frozen Restorer, tap, untap target land, untap 3 target lands if you have Threshold. They do not currently have Threshold, so that's fine with me. Elvish Mystic coming back down. A casual 25 mana up, and then we have Wave of Vitriol. Okay. That's unfortunate. All of our Mana Rocks go bye-bye. Our saving grace against Vorniclex is dead. Okay. We do also sacrifice our non-basic lands, of which we have 2. We will get to search for more lands. Also, we benefit from none of the extra mana. We benefit from... Oh! Braids quits the game. Yeah, that was pretty bad for him. So anyway, we benefit from none of the extra mana at all. Except the Nissa player who will still have Vorniclex, which we're going to have to Winds of Abandon regardless of anything. We still have a plan against the Wort player, but now it's going to be really tight on that mana. Alright, we have Fire Prophecy. This deals 3 damage to target creature. They are targeting the Elvish Mystic. Put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library if you do draw a card. And it is being copied. Vorniclex unfortunately will trigger for the Wort player. Not too bad though. They only tapped 1 land in response. They will be able to untap the rest of their lands. Elvish Mystic is down. The Frozen Restorer is down. That works for me. And here goes all of the backup plan. Boom. Let's go get some lands. While we wait to select some lands, the Nissa player does still have a casual 24 mana in their mana pool. If they summon a number of creatures with it, I'm fine. Probably going to overload a Winds of Abandon next turn, since I don't have to worry about the ramp anymore. I do hope it's not maybe a Craterhoof Behemoth. That would be pretty bad at the moment. It wouldn't kill anybody, but just having that come down would kind of suck. Let's get some lands. I do want to get 2 planes though. We have a Swamp in hand, and we'll need the extra white for a Winds of Abandon anyway, and then we'll have enough mana to keep up Dawn Charm in case we need it. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. That sucks. Okay, let's see what they're going to do with it. They could get rid of our token fairly easily. Actually, they could get rid of all of our stuff, and that would put us quite behind. And Wort quits the game. That's unfortunate. I was kind of depending on their help, but I guess we're going it alone. We have some Lightning Greaves. That's no good. Winds of Abandon can still get around it. Hopefully Ugin doesn't do anything to really wipe our board, so we can attack the Ugin. They only have 2 cards in hand. If we can get past all this mana that they have, we can get somewhere. It just really depends on what they do with Ugin. And yeah, alright. They are at -X on Ugin. That is unfortunate. We have really nothing that can save our guys. Our commander back to the command zone. I also haven't run into any of the recursion either. There's not too much yet in the deck, but might be something we need to consider, even if Ugin exiles anyway. Nissa Vastward Seer coming back down for that player. Drop the lane, transform her back up, and then we have another Planeswalker to deal with. Explosive Vegetation. That'll get him some lanes to flip Nissa over. Nissa triggers twice, but it only needs to happen once. Nissa will reveal the top card again. If it's a land, to the battlefield. If it's not, they draw it. It is Garrick, Primal Hunter. Alright, so more tokens. Planeswalker's getting a little out of hand. Did overlook Merciless Eviction for this deck, unfortunately. So we will have to look at that in the future, I'm thinking. I was worried about Super Friends deck, or at least a lot of decks with Planeswalkers. Garrick coming down. Greaves onto Vorniclex, that's unfortunate. Kinda thought they'd be doing that. I was thinking maybe Winds of Abandon for just the one white. Nope, guess we're gonna have to overload and basically get beat down by a bunch of Planeswalkers. Greaves onto the Primal Clux, okay. So I guess they'll womp us with that first and then switch it back. Alright, 2 combat. I imagine they're going to try to deal 11 to us. Okay, let's go ahead, tap down some planes, and play the Dawn Charm to prevent the damage. Unfortunately, those planes will not untap during our next untap step. The rest of them will, but then we have to use Winds of Abandon to survive. Unfortunately, with the Planeswalkers coming down, 3 damage to us, plus a Share of the Awoken World, plus a 3/3 Beast. Not to mention, we'll be taking 3 more damage from Ugin, another Beast, and probably Nissa at that point will +1. We'll probably need another board wipe just to be in this game, so we'll have to see what we draw. Unfortunately, we can't get any of our draw down because our mana will be unable to be untapped, so we can tap it. Lightning Greaves back to Vorniclex. Yeah, I'm not seeing a path to victory here, unfortunately. Vorniclex is going to keep us too slow for too long to deal with the Planeswalkers. We'll give it a whirl. We may get something. But I don't think we're getting out of this one. Just how long it would take us to get to stuff. Ugin would be back to board wipe range, and he could just nuke half of our stuff anyway with the +2. Not good. Okay, we do not have the triple white for wins. That was a bit of a misplay on my part. We did draw Angel of the Dire Hour, though. We could exile all the attacking creatures they have when they attack us. I think we're just going to pass it off, hold up our mana, and see what happens. They're only at 2 cards in hand. They do have a lot of mana, though. Using Angel of the Dire Hour, if they do eventually attack with everything and we somehow survive the next couple of attacks, could turn around in our favor. We still have to deal with all those Planeswalkers, though. We have Ugin. We're going to get Ghost Fired to the face. This is going to reveal the top card. It's a Mere Battlesphere. Okay. That could change the calculations pretty quickly. An extra 4 on top of a 7 attacker. That's not good. They draw cards equal to the Grace Power among creatures they control. That will be 11 thanks to the Primal Clux. That's coming out of Garrick. Ooh, that's a lot of mana being tapped down. Alright, so 14 mana. What will it be? Half of it could be for the Mere Battlesphere. We have Tooth and Nail Entwined. Alright, well, let's go ahead and see what they're getting. Okay, we get Woodfall Primus and Kozilek the Great Distortion. Okay, so Kozilek has the discard a card to counter something effect. That makes things a lot more difficult, however. Mere Battlesphere and Avenger of Zendikar coming down. That's a lot of tokens. Otherwise, we had that Woodfall Primus. Enters the battlefield, destroy target non-creature permanent, rather, it has Persist. I guess they could blow up our lands. At this point, we do have 1 extra at this point because we can get down the Angel of the Dire Hour or do Winds of Abandon. We got maybe 1 more turn in this. And then we just don't have a chance at all. As it is, between those Planeswalkers and the mana, I think this game's over. A landfall trigger. Avenger will make all the plants a little bit bigger. Void Winnower. Your opponents can't cast spells with even converted mana values. Now, I do like the card Void Winnower. I don't play it, though, because it's... One of my first rules is you get to play Magic. And yeah, you can use taxing effects. It's also where I avoid cards like Gaddock Teeg or Dranath Mana Straight, because I think they're a little bit too strong. Void Winnower for me is kind of like on the fence a little bit, because it only does half everything you can cast. But for some decks specifically, it can be more abused than others, so I just avoid it personally. Yep, Woodfall Primus into play. They're destroying a land. That's unfortunate. Alright, let's see what they're going to do. We have at least 16 damage coming our way. Put us down to 19. Let's say they do the Mere Battlesphere, so that's another 11. Yeah, they could kill us this turn. Yeah, they'll just go for the straight 11 on the Void Winnower then. Yep, and there's lethal. We have at least 26 on the left, 11 on the right. Let's go ahead and take it. And there it is, -2. Who do we want to give it to? I think we want to give it to the Wort player. And there it is, 3 points off into the Wort player, 2 points off into the winner. Let's go ahead and take a look at the deck. Alright, here's the deck. Kind of threw some stuff together. Did a little bit of kind of an inspiration from one of my very first EDH decks, rather, where I would advance the game plans of everyone else and then I would just have stuff to destroy them. EDH has gotten a little bit faster since then, way back then, so don't think it's the best strategy now, especially with this game, and a game I've already played against a Shadrix Silverquill. The problem with Shadrix in of itself is, while I love the card, once you get down to 1 versus 1, he is just about the hardest commander to use an ability on ever. So unless he's already raring to go by doing just damage, giving them a token sucks. The counters are usually never you want to give to anybody, and then letting them draw an extra card, especially if you're ahead, not the best. Other than that, need to shore up some weaknesses here, maybe add some more mass removal or something. We also saw at mass removal that game, maybe some extra protection for our creatures and other permanents. We saw a lot of that getting blown up too. In your case, going to work on the deck a bit, don't want to go over it too much right now. Did put in just some random things I was trying: extra card draw, console of allocation, a couple of like rattlesnakey kind of walls, but we'll see how it goes. In either case, if you saw any cards in this video, sealed product that you want to purchase for yourself, or sleeves to protect all that stuff, please consider using the TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. Helps out the channel and doesn't cost you anything extra. Okay, on to the next game for Shadrix Silverquill, where hopefully we will decide whether we want to go maybe full politics with it, or just blow up everything that everyone has as a kind of control deck. Until then, I'll see you around. Stay safe out there.